Hello again, and here we are back at the Innovative Instructional Technologies webpage. What I'd like to introduce you to today, and trying to do it as quickly as I possibly can, is the Plickers assignment. And this assignment will primarily be used by the MAT and the BAIS students that are in the GPS program. So let me get started. If you'll look at the main page here of the Innovative Instructional Technologies, the 216515, and if we click on the methods, it'll take us directly to the methods components. And you can see that even though this is the Classroom Response Technology website, this is the primary page for it. We're not going to be using that one for this one, but I would like to show you these are the two options. This is option 1 and option 2, and here is a perfect example of the Plickers cards. I like using the Plickers because everything that you need to be successful with in completing this assignment may be found online. You don't have to have clickers, and here's the example of the clickers down below. This is just a few of the clickers that I use in the class. This is for kindergarten, and these two are used for at any grade level. But these are the clickers. You need them in your possession to be able to complete this assignment. But you don't need the Plickers. The Plicker cards may be printed online. So let me go back to the website here, and right here on this link, this is the link for the Plickers assignment. Let me kind of circle it just to make sure that you understand. This is the Plickers assignment here. So when we click on that one, it'll take us to the main page for the assignment for this particular thing. Now this assignment is twofold. The assignment will require you to invest in some of your philosophical, pedagogical theories, and it will also introduce you to a technology integration, something that you will be able to use into the classroom. I could also include assessment. It's very strong in assessment and that's very important. And let me get started by kind of introducing you to what Plickers are, and may be helpful when you start the process. Plickers, let's see, I'll start with the videos here. This video, the Plickers video, is 8 minutes and 38 seconds. This quick video, you need to watch it on your own. And this video
Plickers is a fun and
will give you a brief overview of all the tips and tricks of successfully creating a website and actually implementing it. It's a short one, and that's why I chose it. The next video is it may seem out of place for some of you who are not kindergarten teachers, because it was a kindergarten teacher that actually created this video, and I really like this video because her classroom management skills in using the Plickers is really excellent. So I would like for you to watch this. The way that she uses the clickers in the classroom, she is and it can be used for any grade level from K through 12. So don't think that just because she's teaching kindergarten that it's specific to kindergarten. The way that she implements the writing on the back of the cards is just a great tool to use with the Plickers. So that's you'll watch this video. It's 11 minutes and 58 seconds long. The next one thing that I would like to talk about this one is, here is the Plicker site. This is where you need to go and actually create a login and username. You can sign up here, and this is the bottom one here is where you would actually sign up, create your first name, last name, and your email address, and create a password, and the email address will be used as your username. So that's kind of a given. Kind of easy process, and it's an easy site, very easy program to use. Here is the location for the Plicker cards. This is one of the Plicker cards. As you can see, these Plicker cards are front side of the Plicker cards, and let me kind of just show you very quickly. This is where the number are located right here. You can see where the number 1 is. Maybe if I change the color, it'd be a little bit more helpful. But that's the number 1, and then here are that's B, A, D, and C. And depending on how you orient the card, the students turn them around in the classroom will give them the letters. So that's kind of a brief overview, but this is that's one, and here's Plicker card 2. You can see it right here. So, and then there are 40 cards on this particular Word document. You can see right here is the 40th card. Let me kind of clear the ink. Here's number 40, and they're all different, and it works very well in the classroom. Watch the videos, and they can be most helpful to you as you're working through the Plickers assignment. In one of the videos, let me kind of share this with you. This is additional information on how to use the videos right here. You can see that this is how to use Plickers Part 1, how to use Plickers Part 2, and Part 3, and he is very thorough. So if you can't really get it on these 2 videos on how to use the Plickers, you may want to go ahead and include these 3 videos to kind of help you move through the process of learning how to use them. All right, let me clear my ink again. Here we go. Let's. The next thing that I want to talk about in Plickers. Let me go back. I failed to mention the back side of the Plickers cards. This is something that it may take just a second to download this from the website, but this might take a little bit of practice as you're creating this. This is simply the back side of the Plickers cards, and what it will address is the point that, if it will open. But what this is addressing is the backside of the Plicker cards. The kindergarten video, the kindergarten teacher really discusses this in quite a bit of detail, where the way that the kids orient the cards, and she will actually go in and use a marker. As you can see here, this is an example of the cards, and she will actually go in and use a marker for this. And like what I have done, let me resize this just a little bit to make it just a little bit larger. I don't know what it zoomed in at. Oh, okay, it's 34%. So let me go up a little bit so you can see a little bit closer as I'm kind of explaining this to you. But you can see this is the actual back side of the Plicker. What you would do is you would print the front side of the Plickers through a printing machine, and then flip these over pointing in the same direction, and print the back side. But if you do this, be very careful. Only print 1 or 2 cards, or 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, to make sure that the letters are corresponding with the front of the Plicker cards. But this is, I can actually just change the colors if I want to. You can see that if I wanted to change this to a lighter, a different color, I can do that. And I can, like in the C, I can change it to blue color, whatever. And then I can also edit this. And that's why it's created in a Word document, to give you that availability to make these kinds of changes to the back of your cards, to kind of fit your needs. And you can see this is card 1 and card 2. And it's very kind of difficult to set this up so that it would work properly. But it's a wonderful resource to use. But that's the back side of the Plicker cards. Close out of this if I can. All right, back to the Plickers. I hope if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me about the Plicker cards. The videos are really self-explanatory and will help you greatly throughout the process. But now let me get back to the other one. This is like I said, this may be a paradigm shift for most of you in the process. And as many times as I have discussed this, people still have difficulty in relating. I think it's the nervousness of people when they get in front of a crowd and they try to implement this or display this, demonstrate it for the first time. It can be difficult. So let me show you first of all. This little quote right here is really a great quote. You can see, we should teach by questioning, not telling. And so it's not new. This has been around for over 2,000 years. Socrates was the first to mention this methodology, or this pedagogy of teaching. And if you look at this, this kind of explains, this is kind of the basis for what the next guy that I'm going to talk about, which is Eric Mazur. And you can see that this is Eric Mazur's book. It's Pure Instruction. This is an excellent read. It's a very old book. It's been around, I think he started this in the late 80s, I think. So it's been around for a little while, his concept of it. But all he did was just kind of modify what had been out there for quite some time. to fit his need, so he really presents it in a good way, and that's why the next thing I want to introduce to you very quickly is particularly the assignment that I'm trying to get you to do. This is Confessions of a Converted Lecturer, and it's Eric Mazur, and it's 1 hour and 20 minutes long. And I know this is a long time. It's a long time to invest for the process. Let me kind of move it up.
Well, there are a lot of you here. I guess you must all like public confessions. It's quite intimidating to be standing in front of so many people and confess. I'd really rather do this one-on-one. I guess I just have to remind myself of the American proverb, the more you confess, the more books you will sell. So let's get going. This is my first confession. When I started teaching at Harvard, which was in 1984, I was asked to teach the big introductory pre-med course. I did not know that none of my colleagues wanted to teach that course, but I happily accepted that assignment. So when I was assigned that course, I never asked myself, how am I going to teach this course? Normally when you start doing something new.
But Eric Mazur, like I said, you will face a paradigm shift probably in your instruction. What he mentions in some of his introduction is how teachers need to be in control of their classroom. And this is a paradigm shift. You're familiar with the old concept of instruction, which is I do, you do, and then we do together. And the I, again, is I do, is I tell, I teach, I show you, it's just totally direct instruction, lecture type to your students. And what Eric Mazur, and what I agree with also, is that's kind of an old way to teach. It's not an adequate way to teach. Let me say that. It's a little bit better way to say it. I prefer myself exactly the way he does it. Somebody can stand up in front of me and tell me something, just like I'm doing with you now, and it kind of goes in one ear and out the other, and I don't really pick up on anything. What Eric Mazur attempts to do is first of all, he flips the classroom. Let me show you. After you watch this video, the next thing that you need to do is to answer the peer instruction questions. Now, you may want to print these out as you go. Print these out before you start or begin to watch the video. This is an example of what I'm speaking of. What you will do is you will complete these questions and email the finished document to me once you have watched the video and can answer these questions. But there's three main points of this particular video that he tries to stress, and I am in total agreement in everything that he says. First of all, you do the pre-class reading, and you know what this is. This is what we are commonly referring to as the flipped classroom. You assign some of the reading, some of the content that you should have covered, and you can see not coverage here, that typically a lecture type environment teacher would cover during the class time, and that's not the way that Eric Mazur is trying to stress. What he's trying to say is you assign the students to do this at home, and then they come into the classroom somewhat prepared. Now, I also do a reading, I call it the survey method, that I have employed quite often and been very successful with it, that kind of has done this, and I've done that for, I guess, probably the last 15 years or so. But it's a survey method that I have been very successful with, especially with the students, because I used it myself and it worked for me, and I know it'll work for a lot of the students just like me. And so that's the pre-class reading is important. That's the flipped classroom, the in-depth class in-depth, not coverage. These are you're answering the questions that the students are having problems with in working through it. Now, the concept test is the next thing that I wanted to kind of focus on because it is so relevant. And this is where a lot of people make the mistakes when they attempt to do this. Now, let me minimize this. I'll go ahead and close this one because you will be watching this. This is the concept flow chart. I'm going to have to resize it here very quickly. Let me kind of make it a little bit smaller so that you can see it. Now, hopefully everybody can see this. But this is the process. I do have a video that I'm going to share with you. And very quickly, let me see if I can describe the video. The students are given a question. Students are actually given a question. They're posed with a question using the Plickers or clickers, either one. And after they're posed the question, he displays it on the board. And the first vote, we are at this point. The first vote is absolutely no discussion. This is the material that should have been gained from homework, from the flipped classroom concept. So the students should already be somewhat knowledgeable about the material because they should have read it at home. And if they're not, that tells you something. And I know it's going to be very difficult, especially for the secondary environment in K-12 education. That's going to be very difficult to get the students to do this. After they vote, and then if the majority of the students are correct, which is the easiest route, if it's a simple concept and the majority of the students are correct, then you can give just a brief explanation and move on. Hence the speed. However, okay, let's do it again. Let's pose a question and say the other scenario is in play. Pose the question. The students do a simple vote right here. And, however, the students go to the majority incorrect right here. And what happens is a couple of things can tell you. They're really clueless as to what the concept truly is. They didn't read their assignment. They didn't do their assignment. Or they're tired. Or there's a lot of excuses that I can come up with, as can the students. But let's move here. Here's the majority incorrect. The next phase of this one is you can see this little arrow going to the left. I guess that would be to your right. So the arrow to this is the key point. Now, this is where a lot of the teachers, teachers who like classroom control, who like the desks in pristine order, and they like the classrooms where there's very little noise. This could be the chaotic point, and it's kind of difficult for students to accept the idea that they're allowed to speak and discuss things openly in a classroom environment. As long as they're on task, that's fine. But they discuss with the neighbors. And you give them several minutes to be able to discuss the concept or the original question that you have posed up here. And then they discuss it, and you give them several minutes. And after a certain amount of time, and you feel comfortable, because now your role changes. Your role changes from the direct instruction person, teacher, to the facilitator or the coach. A coach is another good definition to a way to say this. So you're coaching the students. You may go out as they're discussing with neighbors, you may go out into the crowd and discuss and show and examples and talk to them to make sure that they can discuss it among themselves and talk. All right. So and another key point too is it's really good that you could pair the students. Those students who actually got the correct answer. You may have, let's say we have a 50-50 split. It'd be easy to pair the students who understand the concept with a student who doesn't understand the concept and work through it. Then after several minutes of chaotic, it can be a chaotic experience, and like I said, some teachers won't be able to work through this because Eric Mazur also, he talks about, everything that he speaks about in his videos are so, real to life. I was lectured to my entire career, even in college. I can't remember any classrooms that I participated in where it wasn't straight lecture memorization, rote memorization, which is totally against the brain-based philosophy. But after the students have an opportunity to discuss with their neighbors, then they drop down to vote one more time. All right, if it's the majority correct, easy. They're on the same path. Give a brief explanation and move on. If they get it wrong the second time, as you can see, we go here, and if it's majority incorrect, then you have the two options of you can give a detailed explanation, or you can have them do a second option of discussing with neighbors. But I would recommend at this particular junction is to give a detailed explanation as to what it is. Now, does this mean that after you give the detailed explanation? No, you can put the question up and ask it at a different time if you have the time. That's a problem. We don't have time anymore to do anything. But I would immediately pose the question again and then go through the process again and see in which direction that it goes this time. But that's the concept. It seems like it takes a little bit of time, but please don't get in the habit of throwing the question up on the board or on the screen, and then have the students click the questions and then move on to the second without an opportunity for discussion, without an opportunity for active learning or the peer discussion that should occur through this process. This is probably the biggest mistake that most people make when I'm trying to implement this, because this is kind of like you have to think of what Piaget says when it comes to assimilation accommodation. This is definitely accommodating, because most teachers, most students won't understand this process, but once they do, it's a wonderful environment to teach in. The teacher is truly a facilitator. And then the teacher, as in I do, you do, we do, it kind of flips that also. It is you do, singular. The student answers the question singularly. And then the students work, you do, plural. The students work together in pairs or in groups. And then if it still doesn't work out, it is we do. So there is the explanation for that. But now the videos these are all videos that are really good. There are some examples that I have given of this process. You don't have to watch those, but the two videos that I would like for you to watch is this one, the Peer Instruction for Active Learning with Eric Mazur. Watch that one, and then this is the website where that video may be found, and it's like I said, there's a lot more information here, even concept. And one other thing that I need to mention is that yes, this is college level, but it can be easily broken down, modified to fit in a kindergarten through K-12 school environment easily. I have done it, and I have had students who actually have done this. So it's a great way to teach. But this is the main page that I want you to watch and view. It's an hour and 20 minutes long. It is a long investment of time, but please try to get through this. And these are the questions. So the two parts, you go to the top of the page, you will create a actual Plickers sessions with at least four questions. And using this process, hopefully we can demonstrate this in front of the class at one of our last meetings. But this is one of the assignments. It's a major assignment. It's many parts. I want to say two parts, but essentially it is the Plickers and then the Eric Mazur component. But the most important part is to integrate and use the concept testing, which is found in peer instruction. So this is don't forget that it's severalfold. Like I guess is a better way to say it. But let me see if I have left out anything. I don't think so. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact and ask me. And again, thank you very much.